Hello and welcome to another Jurassic Outpost video review of one of the upcoming Mattel 2019 toys. Today's toy is the Albertosaurus from the Battle Damage line. That is a exclusive toy line, at least in the United States, that was only available at Walmart. So it's a little bit different than the rest of the Dino Rivals toy line, as it doesn't actually have the Dino Rivals logo, but it's, it's completely part of the toy line itself. It's just you can only find it at Walmart. This is a toy that people have been really excited for. It's, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first Tyrannosaurs, other than a Tyrannosaurus Rex, Tyrannosaur species, that a Jurassic toy line has ever done. And as you can see, it is a large toy, about the same size as a Action Attack or Mega Dual Attack. So right away you can see it inside of the packaging. It looks great. You can see the name Albertosaurus. You have the T-Rex render there. You have the nice new key art in the background. The Battle Damage logo there. Logo up there. It's really vibrant. It pops really well. And you can just turn it around and you can see the back of the packaging there. And right away on the back you can see something. It has double dino damage. So you have, first you reveal the bone, and then you reveal the organs inside. And then you can see down here the first wave of single battle damage will be a re-release of Blue, a re-release of the Sticky Moloch, and then a new paint job of the Pteranodon. But anyways, I had already opened this before videoing. Whoops. So let me just pop it out. And you can see right away that it is a nice sized item. If you compare it to the Dracorex, which is an attack pack, it towers over it. But so let's take a look at the articulation. It has some really nice neck articulation. That really gives you a nice range of motion. You have the legs, which go in and out, and the tail, which rotates. It's a bit stiff compared to some of the other tails, but it goes all the way around. The legs also go full 360 degrees around. And then the arms, they do not go out, they only rotate up and down, so the arms have a limited amount of articulation. Also, the jaw. The jaw itself is articulated. There's not a play feature, so you can control that yourself. So you can see the jaw. And then, of course, let's take a look at the battle damage. Let's waste no time getting into this. Battle damage. You can see there, you press it, it reveals the bones, and then the bones are a hard plastic, but if you push them aside, the organs are a real feel inside of the hole, and they're very soft. So it's got these real feel battle damage organs. And then you have the slash marks here on the side, and you can see it from the other side. This is a really nice item. It has a ton of detail. The head sculpt itself has a lot of, I wasn't sure if it looked very Albertosaurus-like from the side. A lot of people commented it looked a little too Allosaur-like, but in person it definitely really channels that Albertosaurus really well. And the color is a really nice item, and really nice for the item, I should say. And I love the purple that kind of highlights up here. It's just a really unique looking dinosaur, and honestly it looks great. So let me take a look at some of the detail. So here you can see just how detailed just the head alone is. You can see all the tight scales that are running across the face, the lower jaw, and then you have the spikes and osteoderms on the back of the neck, and they really display well. They really capture the attention of the eyes, and even the eye itself is quite expressive without looking anthropomorphic. And if I ever so slightly turn it, you can see the shape of the skull. And it is a very unique looking Jurassic Park dinosaur. I haven't seen one like this before, to be honest with you. And then if I open the mouth, you can see that the tongue itself is textured in there, and there is a lot of detail. And we can see it's the same on this side. Moving to the body, you can see that there's a continuation of that detail that is on the face. You have the really strong ridges along the spine, the osteoderms, the spikes, and then all of the skin detail. I will say that on the body, the skin detail is a little washed out when compared to the head, but it still looks really nice. And you can take a look a little closer at what the battle damage looks like here. You can see how it is real feel inside of the hole, but not the bones. Hold on, let me slide that back down. And you slide it back down like so, and slide that up, and it resets. And you can see on the other side as well all of the detail. The tail is no different. It is covered in detail. It has a continuation of the ridge along the back. Tons of osteoderms. What's really interesting is Jurassic Park dinosaurs particularly aren't very osteodermed and aren't very scaly dinosaurs. They're much more leathery in comparison, but a lot of the Mattel, a lot of the new to the toy line, so the ones not from the films, are very scaly, osteodermed. They're spiky. It's something that I've noticed is varied a little bit in the art style of the toys that are based on film creatures versus brand new animals. The tail itself seems a little bit short. It particularly looks short in images that came out earlier. And overall, I think the toy itself looks a lot better in person once you have it. The tail doesn't seem as strikingly short. It could probably be a little bit longer, but it looks really good. Again, the arms themselves only have a up and down pivoting motion. They do not go full 360 degrees around, which is perfectly fine. Although I would have liked to see a ball joint there, just so you can bring them out and in if possible. But otherwise, they're very nice looking tyrannosaurid arms. A lot of detail. You can see even like the ridges along the fingers, the muscle, the veins, the skin, and it is no different on this side here. While part of the Tyrannosaur family, its underbelly does not have the same pattern as the Tyrannosaurus rex, which is kind of like a crocodilian-like pattern, but rather this one has more of a elephantine pattern on the underbelly. And it looks good. The paint doesn't continue down, so you only have the underbelly painted, so the jaw is a white, solid white cast, and you have a little bit of the underbelly painted here, and it transitions just to the solid kind of gunmetal green going down the entire body, but I actually don't have any issues with that. It just seems to capture the color really well. It doesn't seem to unitone in that sense. It works, is I guess what I'm getting at. It really helps the entire piece pop really well. And again, you can see all the detail on the legs, which pop out like so. You can see the foot there, and you can see, of course, the pack tag on this foot here. Sorry, that seems a bit far away, but what can you do? And it stands on its own really, really well. So to compare this to a 3 3/4 inch human from the Mattel Jurassic line, here is Dr. Alan Grant. And as you can see, this toy does tower over him. While it's nowhere near as large as, say, the Spinosaurus or the Tyrannosaurus rex, it's a big toy. It's on par with the Carnotaurus, the Suchomimus, and such. While the Carnotaurus itself does stand taller, it mainly has to do with the animal's posture. They're relatively the same size toy. Again, I think the one thing that this toy probably could have done better was the length of its tail. It's just a little too short, and that might have been due to the constraints of the box design. However, in that case, perhaps taking it the Roarvor route and allowing the tail to be a separate add-on piece would have been more ideal. But let me compare these two side by side a little bit more. So when they're not directly on top of one another, they look exactly the same size. Again, if I were just to pop the Carnotaurus like so, you can see that it is perhaps ever so slightly longer, but not by much. And most of its added size just comes from its higher hip height and then upright neck, and then plus ever so slightly longer tail. Otherwise, this I even feel like it has a little bit more bulk than the Carnotaurus at some parts. And comparing the two of them, you can see this is what they look like from above. And of course, what's a comparison without a good group shot of everything all together? So you have an Attack Pack toy here. You have the, I'm dubbing it Mega Dino Damage. I'm not really sure what this SKU is called or if there will be more, but it's the Action Attack or Mega Dual Attack size. You have the Action Attack Carnotaurus there, basic human, and then of course the lumbering Spinosaurus up here. Now, one thing I do want to note is you might be watching this and wondering, why did I not mention the collector's card, which the new Dino Rival toys come with? Well, that's because apparently the Battle Damage and I presume the Legacy Collection toys do not come with collector's cards, unfortunately. That's a bit of a bummer. I would have liked to see a collector's card, especially for the Albertosaurus, given it's a unique brand new species, a brand new sculpt, so it would have been cool to see the artwork for it. And plus, I just would have liked to have that be a standard across all the collections. I'm not sure why it's excluded. I don't know if it's a cost thing or if they wanted the Dino Rivals toys themselves just to have something very, very unique. And if that's the case, if collector's cards are not going to continue into the future, if it's just a one-off, I don't really know. But I really, really do like this. It's a retail price of $19.97, so it's a great toy that's next to the $19.99 of the Carnotaurus. So it's a great item, it's a great sized item, it has a lot of articulation, a lot of great detail, sculpt patterns. The play feature is fantastic with the Mega Dual Attack feature. Even like little things down to the eyes I've noticed in the 2019 toys are painted a little bit better. For some of the 2018 toys, they tend to have only one color and then the pupil was inferred by the absence of color and it made the eyes not pop out. Not only does this have a painted pupil, it looks like it's hand painted rather than screen printed or like kind of decaled on, and it really just gives it a certain sense of ferocity and it really pops nicely. As you can see, mine ever so slightly has a little bit of paint detail from the teeth that went up on the skin, but I'm gonna try scraping that off. Again, I'm really, really pleased with this toy. I think that the one thing that maybe could have been done a little bit better was the length of the tail and ball joints on the arms, and perhaps this is probably nitpicking, but perhaps art style wise I would have liked to see a little less osteoderm and a little less spike focused dinosaurs, and something that fit a little bit more in with the more mild looked leathery Jurassic Park dinosaurs. You know, none of them look, typically they don't look very scary or mean or spiky on their own. They're very kind of leathery and animalistic, and not on the edgier end of dinosaur designs. But I think that this works as a one-off. I think it is one critique out of a toy line full of just amazingly well-crafted toys, designs, artistry, and price points. Again, Mattel Jurassic has been kicking it out of the park and into the world, I guess, and I really cannot wait to continue to see what they have coming next. I will have a lot more videos coming up. I've been trying to keep these a little bit more simple, a little bit more textile, and just kind of show you what these look like while they're actually in someone's hands, rather than the showroom videos I've done in the past. I feel like this gives you a better idea of just what makes the toy the toy. Let me know if you have any other questions. If there's something you'd like to see in future videos or a different style, let me know. But I wanted to get this out there because people were really, really eager to see the Albertosaurus, and I wanted to help them out. It's showing up in stores now, so be sure to check that out. I was able to find mine in stores, and a few others have found it the same way. So until next time, thank you and stay tuned.